Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something pretty amazing?
Yeah.
We're looking at this recent article from Small Wake Meech.
Okay.
It's a scientific journal. And let me tell you, this research is really something else.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking synchronized bacteria.
Oh, wow. It's not what you typically think of when you hear bacteria, right?
Right.
Usually chaos, but
Exactly.
this research is showing us that even these single-celled organisms can, exhibit this organized movement.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It is.
So how did scientists even discover this synchronized swimming, or I guess swirling of bacteria?
Well, researchers at TU Delft,
Okay.
they engineered these teeny tiny circular cavities, almost like miniature swimming pools for bacteria.
Okay.
They trapped E. coli, a type of bacteria you probably have in your gut right now, in these cavities, and observed their movement.
So we've got bacteria hanging out in these tiny pools.
Yeah.
And then what? Did you spontaneously start, dancing?
Not exactly spontaneous.
Okay.
But it is pretty amazing.
Okay.
So these cavities were connected by small channels, and what the researchers found was the bacteria in connected cavities started moving in sync.
Really?
In a rotary motion.
Wow. So it's not just random movement.
Nope.
They're actually coordinating with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how these tiny bacteria are, communicating to do that.
Well, it's not communication like you and I think of it.
Okay.
It's more like they're influencing each other through the water. Think of it like this. You're stirring your coffee.
Okay.
And you create this tiny whirlpool.
Right.
That whirlpool can push and pull on other things in the cup.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
I'm starting to see where you're going with this.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a similar concept with the bacteria, just on a much, much smaller scale.
Yeah.
So as one bacterium moves in its little pool,
Okay.
it creates these tiny forces in the fluid called hydrodynamic interactions. Okay. Which influence the movement of the bacteria in the connected pool.
Okay.
And this creates a cascade effect that eventually leads to synchronization.
Wait, so we're saying these teeny tiny bacteria are making waves,
Yeah.
literally, that are getting other bacteria moving in sync.
You got it. And what makes this even more remarkable is that this type of synchronization phenomenon has been observed in other systems.
Oh, interesting.
Like pendulum clocks.
Right. I remember reading about that. That was Christian Huygens.
Yeah.
Back in the 17th century.
Exactly.
He noticed that pendulum clocks on the same wall would eventually start swinging together.
Precisely. It's a classic example of self-organization.
Yeah.
And what's really exciting is that we're now seeing the same principle at play in the microscopic world of bacteria.
Wow.
It suggests that there are fundamental laws of physics that govern synchronization across vastly different scales.
That's incredible.
It is.
So we've got these bacteria doing their synchronized swimming routine. But you said this isn't just some random scientific curiosity.
Right.
What makes this discovery so important?
Well, it's important because it challenges our assumptions about randomness in biological systems.
Okay.
And it opens up this whole new realm of possibilities.
Okay.
For example, imagine being able to harness this synchronization to create microtools.
Okay.
Tiny machines that can manipulate and control bacteria.
Whoa. Okay, now you're really blowing my mind.
Yeah.
Bacteria is tiny robots. What would that even look like?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
We already use bacteria for things like producing insulin and other drugs. But imagine if we could control their movement and behavior even more precisely. We could potentially use them to deliver drugs to specific locations in the body.
Wow.
Or even to break down pollutants in the environment.
So we're not just watching them dance.
Nope.
We're learning how to choreograph their movements.
Yes, exactly.
That's incredible.
And we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Wow.
Another exciting application is in drug screening.
Drug screening.
Yeah.
How would synchronized bacteria help us test new medications?
Well, imagine this.
Okay.
You have a group of synchronized bacteria in these tiny cavities.
Right.
And you introduce a new drug.
Okay.
By observing how the drug affects their synchronized movement, you could potentially learn a lot about how the drug works and whether it's effective.
So the bacteria basically become these tiny living sensors.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's fascinating. And to think this discovery all started with scientists simply watching bacteria swim in tiny circles.
That's right.
It really makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden in the microbial world just waiting to be discovered, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah, it really makes you appreciate the power of just observing, just watching these bacteria swim around has led to some pretty big ideas.
It really does, yeah. It speaks to the beauty of scientific discovery. Sometimes the most groundbreaking findings come from simply paying attention to things that seem really mundane.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned drug screening.
Right.
Can you give like a concrete example of how observing these bacterial dances would tell us if a drug is working?
Absolutely. Let's say you have a new antibiotic.
Okay.
You want to test it.
Right.
You introduce it to a group of these synchronized bacteria in their little pools.
Okay.
If the drug is effective,
yeah,
it might disrupt the bacteria's ability to move or interact with each other. And that disruption would cause their synchronized swimming to fall apart.
Okay.
And you would see a change in their patterns.
So by watching how their little dance changes, scientists can actually see the drug working.
Yeah.
On a microscopic level.
Precisely. It's almost like watching a microscopic ballet.
Wow.
And the drug is the choreographer changing the steps.
Okay.
And this could be incredibly valuable because it allows us to see the drug's effect in real time. And it could potentially lead to faster and more efficient drug development.
That makes sense, but I have to admit, the idea of using bacteria as tiny robots still feels a bit like science fiction to me.
I understand the skepticism, but think about it this way. Bacteria are already incredibly efficient at certain tasks. Yeah. They can break down complex molecules, produce useful substances, and even survive in extreme environments.
Yeah, that's true.
We're simply trying to learn from them and adapt their natural abilities to solve our own problems.
So it's about harnessing their existing skills.
Yes.
And giving them a new purpose.
Exactly. Think about targeted drug delivery.
Okay.
Instead of just flooding your whole system with medication, imagine tiny bacteria carrying a drug directly to a tumor or an infected area.
Yeah.
This could potentially make treatments more effective and reduce side effects.
Wow, that would be a game changer. Are there any other potential applications that you find particularly exciting?
One area I find fascinating is bioremediation.
Okay.
This is the use of living organisms to clean up pollutants in the environment.
Right.
Imagine using bacteria to break down oil spills, detoxify contaminated water, or even remove heavy metals from soil.
So we could essentially train these microscopic cleanup crews to tackle some of our biggest environmental challenges.
That's the idea. And because bacteria are so small and can multiply so rapidly, they could potentially reach places and clean up contaminants in ways that traditional methods just can't.
That's pretty incredible to think that something so small could have such a big impact.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, as we go deeper into manipulating bacteria, are there any ethical considerations that we should be thinking about?
Absolutely. That's an important point.
Yep.
With any scientific advancement, especially one with the potential to manipulate living organisms, we need to proceed with caution and carefully consider any potential risks or unintended consequences.
So it's not just about what we can do. It's about what we should do.
Precisely. We need to have these open and honest discussions about the ethical implications of this technology. For example, we need to ensure that any engineered bacteria are safe for humans and the environment.
Okay.
And we also need to think about the potential for misuse, like the development of harmful bacteria for biowarfare.
So it's like any powerful tool.
Yeah.
It can be used for good or for evil.
Exactly. The key is to establish clear ethical guidelines and regulations to ensure that this technology is developed and used responsibly for the benefit of humanity and the planet.
That makes sense. It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
It is.
But we also need to be aware of the potential pitfalls.
Absolutely. It's a balancing act, but one that's crucial to navigate as we continue to explore the incredible potential of the microbial world.
So we've talked about drug development, tiny robots, environmental cleanup, and even ethical considerations.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about this research that you find particularly remarkable?
What I find truly astonishing is that this discovery links back to a phenomenon observed centuries ago with pendulum clocks.
Oh, yeah.
It suggests that there are fundamental principles governing synchronization across vastly different scales, from the macroscopic to the microscopic.
It's like this underlying rhythm of the universe.
Yeah.
Playing out in everything from swinging pendulums to swirling bacteria.
It's a beautiful thought, isn't it?
It is.
And it reminds us that even the smallest and seemingly simplest things can hold profound secrets about the nature of our universe.
Yeah.
It also highlights the interconnectedness of different scientific disciplines.
In what way?
Well, we have physicists studying pendulums,
Right.
biologists studying bacteria, and engineers designing microfluidic devices, all contributing to our understanding of this one fundamental phenomenon.
Yeah, it's amazing how science can bring together different perspectives to shed light on these incredible mysteries. But beyond the scientific significance, I think this research also speaks to our innate human desire to understand the world around us, even at its tiniest levels.
Yeah, it's like we're peering through this microscopic keyhole, getting a glimpse into a whole new world that was hidden right in front of us.
Right. And who knows what other wonders are waiting to be discovered in that world.
Yeah.
This research with synchronized bacteria is really just the tip of the iceberg. It just opens up so many questions and possibilities.
It makes you wonder if even bacteria can exhibit this complex and coordinated behavior. What other secrets are hiding in the microbial world?
Exactly. There's a whole universe of microscopic life out there that we're only beginning to understand.
Right.
And with new tools and technologies emerging, like the microfluidic devices used in this study, we're gaining the ability to observe and interact with these organisms in ways that were like never before possible.
So what's next for this research? Where do scientists go from here? Well, one area that's ripe for exploration is the study of how different environmental factors affect bacterial synchronization.
Okay, like what kind of factors?
Like temperature, nutrient availability, or even the presence of other microbes.
So it's about understanding how these tiny dancers react to changes in their surroundings.
Precisely. We need to figure out what makes them tick, what makes them synchronize, and what disrupts their rhythm.
Okay.
This knowledge will be crucial for developing applications.
Yeah.
Whether it's designing microrobots, optimizing drug delivery systems, or creating efficient bioremediation strategies.
It sounds like a fascinating and challenging journey ahead.
It definitely is, but it's also an incredibly exciting time to be studying the microbial world.
Yeah.
With each new discovery, we're gaining a deeper appreciation for the complexity and interconnectedness of life, even at its smallest scales.
And as we learn more about the microbial world, we're also learning more about ourselves.
That's a great point.
After all, we're hosts to trillions of bacteria that play a vital role in our health and well-being.
This research reminds us that we're not just individuals, but complex ecosystems, constantly interacting with the microbial world around us.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll even be able to communicate with these microbial communities, harnessing their power for good.
Now, that's a thought-provoking idea. Imagine a future where we can have a dialogue with the bacteria in our gut, influencing their behavior to improve our digestion, boost our immunity, or even treat diseases.
It sounds like science fiction.
Yeah.
But who knows, maybe it's not as far-fetched as we think.
One thing's for sure.
What's that?
The microbial world is full of surprises.
For sure.
And as we continue to explore it, we're bound to make discoveries that will change our understanding of life as we know it.
Well, I think it's safe to say that this deep dive into the world of synchronized bacteria has left us with more questions than answers.
Definitely.
But in the best way possible, I think.
It's a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is an ongoing journey.
And even the tiniest organisms can hold profound secrets. That challenge our assumptions and inspire our imaginations.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you see a swirling cloud of dust or a flock of birds moving in unison, remember that even the smallest and seemingly simplest things can exhibit incredible coordination and complexity.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
That's right.
Who knows what wonders await you in the world around you?
Until next time, keep those minds curious